Alright guys, Professor T is back with yet another video. Today we are going to look at the labor market, a relatively easy topic. We are very close to finishing the syllabus for paper 1, so without any further ado, let's get started. So first of all, we need to understand the definition of labor market. Labor market is where employers and potential labor interact, or you can even say workers, but I like to say potential labor. Employers provide the demand, labor provides the supply, and the wages are set through the interaction of demand and supply. Employers provide the demand, labor provides the supply, and wages are set through the interaction of demand and supply. Very easy. Now, if you write all this, I think this is worth like 3 or 4 marks. Depends on the question. So you can see how much you want to write, or need to write, as I should say. So let's see, what do we need to know? So this is the definition, and demand and supply theory for labor is similar to demand and supply theory for a product. Wage rate is the price of labor rather than the price of product, and demand for labor will shift if either the productivity of labor or the price of the product sold changes. So for example, if you want to show, if you want to show a movement in demand curve, well, if this is here, let's just make a demand curve here. Oh, sorry, this is a shift in demand curve. This is not a movement. This is a shift in demand curve, but a movement along the supply curve. And if you want to show, let's say, a movement in demand curve, then you just, okay, let me make here. So W here. So W stands for wage, Q stands for the number of workers. And so if you have your demand curve like this, and you want to show, let's say, supply is currently like this is your current wage, and if you want to show a movement in supply curve, then just let's draw this one. So this was our S1, this is our S2. So this is a movement in supply curve. Shift in supply curve. I keep on saying movement. This is a movement along the demand curve and a shift in supply curve. This is called a shift. And from this to this is called a movement. M stands for movement, and this is a shift. SH. I can't write S because S stands for supply. So shift. Alright, so this is what you need to understand. So this is what can happen, and the equilibrium wage changes. So here, like, let's say it can decrease or increase based upon what has happened. So supply of labor is dependent on a number of factors such as skills of the workforce and population size. Labor is demanded by the employers. Demand for labor is derived demand. Now it is directly linked to the demand for the product being made. So let's say if a very common product is being made, and it requires a lot of supply, then there will be more demand for labor for it. The price of labor is wages. At high wage rates, demand will be low. At low wage rates, demand will be high. Well, yeah, I mean, companies can afford to have more labor if they are paying them low wages, because that means their costs are lower, If the product is price inelastic, firms will find it easier to increase wages as the cost can be passed on to the consumer. So what here they mean is, so we have a price inelastic product. So no matter what the price is, I can't read it. Wait, let me just draw a text box. So that means like a large change in price causes minimal change in demand for the product. So that means, so you can change your price, and the cost that you let's say you had increased the wages of your workers, right? So that acted as a cost for you if you're a businessman. Now you want to cover that cost, so what you do is the extra cost is what you add to the price of the product. So consumer is paying the cost, so your revenue is still the same. It's just your workers get higher wages, and well, it was a win-win for you. Well, consumers are still buying your product, and the workers are still getting higher wages. So yeah, that's what this thing means. And so let's go Yeah, and here supply of labor is the number of people of working age offering themselves to for employment at a given time. Always write at a given time. And the reward for labor is a wage. Let me just get rid of this. Yeah. The higher the wage, the more people will offer their services. Yeah, wage is related to skills, qualification, and experience. Workers as economic agents seek to maximize their earnings. Now, factors influencing the supply of labor include population migration. So, supply is provided by the workers themselves, right, who want to work. So, if there is migration, it increases the supply of labor as more people come into a country seeking employment. Very self-explanatory, often willing to work for the minimum wage. Yeah. So, let's say if someone is moving from a rural to an urban area. So, in rural areas, of course, like I don't know if minimum wage act is followed there as strictly as it would be in urban areas. So that's a benefit for the people who migrate. EU offers free movement of labor. Income tax and benefits, high income tax and high benefits act as a deterrent to the supply of labor. Yeah, sometimes as you earn higher, you have to pay more tax. So that's one thing you need to consider. Yeah, and government regulations, national minimum wage. So, an increase in the minimum wage may encourage more people to supply their services. So, they would want to work because minimum wage has increased so that they can make more money in a given time. However, it may also cause a fall in demand. Yeah, because since companies want to pay, would have to pay more, they might want to cut in costs, so they might just get rid of some labor. Trade unions improve pay and working conditions, attracting more people to labor. Take industrial action to withdraw the supply of labor. Push wage rates up through negotiations with employers. So trade unions is just a group of workers. It's just a let's say just in layman terms, it's just a group of workers who work together to fulfill their conditions or something. So like if they want an increase in wage, they'll all protest together or something. So this is what a trade union does. It's just a group of workers who work together to fulfill their demands or conditions. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, one thing. Now equilibrium is the labor market. Equilibrium in the labor market exists when the supply of labor matches the demand for labor, i.e. the number of jobs often being filled. So as I showed you here, this is the equilibrium price. Excuse my handwriting. Equilibrium. Equilibrium price. We go back. Market forces will act to either push wages down if there is excess supply or push wages up if there is excess demand. Yes. What's happening? So of course, if there is excess demand, so let's say demand, there is more demand. So the companies want a lot of workers, right? And so how are they going to get those workers? So if there is less supply, let's say there are limited number of people who can offer work and there is a large demand, so they would have to give large wages to attract them, because otherwise they could go somewhere else. Wage differentials are the difference in wages that workers obtain for their services. High demand and low supply will lead to a higher wage rate. Low demand and high supply will lead to a lower wage rate. I would leave this as an exercise for you, why this happens, to explain. I just actually gave you a bit of explanation in like last 30 seconds. Try to make a graph for it and you'll understand why. Workers try to develop their human capital over their lifetime to increase their value. Of course, if they have more skills, their value increases, they can get higher wages. Workers earn different wages for a variety of reasons. Elasticity of supply. Inelastic workers will earn higher wages, elastic lower. Yeah, inelastic workers, so like inelastic workers would usually be who have a lot of skills, will earn higher wages. Trade unions use collective bargaining to increase the wages of members, as I told you. So they work as a group. The national minimum wage and anti-discrimination legislation will affect wage rates. Yeah, different groups of workers will earn different wage rates due to the value of the human capital. Now, gross pay, every person who earns an income, their gross pay is total pay before any deductions such as taxes. Example, taxes or national insurance or something. So example, a salary of 12,000 is gross pay of 1,000 rupees, 1,000 pounds per month. So 1,000 times 12 is 12,000, and deduction will be taken such as income tax, national insurance. Voluntary deductions are what you choose to pay, example, pension contribution. Now net pay is what you take home after deductions. After all the deductions have take place, you take home. So for example, a salary of 12,000 after deductions might mean you take home 800 pounds per month, of course, not after a year. That would be too much. Now, Deborah's 8 per hour, she works 36 hours per week. She pays 28 pounds income tax, 21 national insurance. Okay, so this is just 36 hours per week. So her total earnings would be 8 times 36 hours per week. So, and why am I not able to draw? So 36, and since there are 52 weeks in a year, this would be 52. Is this coming? I don't know. Yeah. So this is her total earnings in a year per hour times 36 hours per week. Yes. So weekly and yearly earnings. Yes. And now if you want to like calculate her net earning, well, ignore this weekly wage slip. So if you want to calculate her net earning for a month, you just subtract. She pays 28 pounds income tax, 21 national insurance. Imagine this is yearly. So only this section is yearly. Yeah. So you just add them. 28 plus 21 is 49. 49 plus 5 is 54. So this is her yearly earnings. We just subtract. So this is her. So this would have been her gross pay, and then when you deduct this, this becomes her net pay. Net pay. Alright, so this is how you do calculations with the use of supply and demand. We just did that. Are we done? Oh, we are done. Congratulations. So this is what you need to know about the labor market. This is where employers and potential workers interact. Employers provide the demand, labor provides the supply, and wages are set through the interaction of this demand and supply. And you should practice drawing graphs and you'll be fine. That's it, guys. That's it. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, then leave a like. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment box. You can always contact me on Instagram as well. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.